Hey there, Internet. It's Pat coming from my grandfather's desk. And you can't make this up. I'm just going to say it. I did not get any of this from the Babylon Bee. Any of this from Not the Bee. It reads, at the end of H.R. 5, the Parental Rights and Education Act, is a sense of Congress that all public elementary school and secondary school students should not have the opportunities to learn the history of the Holocaust and anti-Semitism. And then the House Minority Leader, Hakeem Jeffries, he called it anti-Semitic. I kid you not. This is the bizarro world we're living in, which means that the Democrats' leader in the House is either a liar or incompetent. If he couldn't figure out how to do how to read that and know that it literally talks about the history of anti-Semitism. So let's talk about this bill. I did a short on it the other night, and of course, nothing went out on that. I'm going to quickly review it. It's got a few provisions. Title I is amendments to the Elementary and Secondary Education Act of 1965. The big one is it's about giving parents access, allowing them to address wards if they have an issue, know what's going on, are the main things here. AOC, of course, calls this fascism. Now, fascism, Nazism, communism, socialism of any kind, typically your authoritarian regimes want to make education their way of indoctrinating students to their beliefs. And so this first title insists that it says, after doing all the striking ands and whatnot, the state shall ensure that the local educational agency in the state, in a case where the curriculum for an elementary and secondary school grade level is freely and publicly available on the internet, posted on a publicly accessible website, the agency's such curriculum, or if the agency does not operate a website, widely disseminated to the public such curriculum, or in a case in which the curriculum for an elementary or secondary school grade level is not freely and publicly available on the internet, and then post it, what it's supposed to do. In other words, they're supposed to tell you what you're teaching your kids, as opposed to, not telling you, and your kids will learn what they decide. So you just shouldn't object. Further down, and they're supposed to do report cards on this. It also requires that, and of course, striking this semicolon and all that stuff. I really wish the federal government would do these bills the way that Washington State does, where it just lines out what's being removed and you can find it. Requiring the assessments be posted and parents' right to know. What it talks about, the students parents are supposed to be allowed at least 2 meetings with teachers, any or all of their teachers, a local, and I will include this both a direct link to the text and all the amendments. They're supposed to be able to know what books are in there. And they're saying, this makes banning books easier. Only because you know what's in the schools. And they're supposed to be able to know the budget. That they're supposed to post that online. They're supposed to make it so you can review the training materials for the teachers. So you know if the teachers are being taught to work critical race theory or social emotional learning into the system. And they're supposed to tell you if you have the right to know if a school employee or contract acts to treat, advise, or address cyberbullying of a student, bullying or hazing of a student, treat, advise, or address a student's mental health, suicide, ideation, or instances of self-harm. How is that fascism, AOC? Who cares about the parents most? are the children most? Probably their parents. Treat or advise or address the possession or use of drugs or other controlled substances. Address an eating disorder. If they bring a weapon to school. So, right to know is described before a person speaks in person or virtually to their child in a class, school, assembly, or other school-sponsored event. All of those are things parents are supposed to be told. By telling the parents, that encourages engagement. They tried to say this doesn't increase student or parental engagement. Sounds like it does to me. The Democrats, though, of course, their idea of the only appropriate engagement for parents to be is to pay your taxes, send your kid, only show up if you're going to do what you're told, or if you're going to raise money for the school. In those 4 instances, they want you engaged. Otherwise, they don't want you there. Okay? They want the government to decide what they learn. At the beginning of each school year, a list of books and other reading materials is to be in the library of each school. They're supposed to post and they're supposed to be able to get this all at no cost. At the beginning of each school year, they're supposed to give a list of books or other reading materials available in the library, the opportunity to inspect such books and other reading material. They're supposed to know if a local educational agency receiving funds under this section shall ensure that each elementary and secondary school serve, blah, 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 blah. If there's any violent activity occurring, if there's video, they're supposed to make that available. Again, what's wrong with it? Well, Democrats, we'd like to know if you're going to get rid of gifted or talented programs. You're supposed to let people know if you're considering doing that. So it's all about, most of this is about transparency when you read it. In this section 1, it says, local educational agency receiving funds under this part shall provide parents of each child who is a student at an elementary school or secondary school served by such agency the opportunity to meet in person or virtually via video conference with each teacher of such child not less than twice during each school year, and notification at the beginning of the school year of the opportunity for such meetings, including the option to attend such meetings virtually via video conference. What's wrong with this? Opposing the opportunity to address the school board at a local educational agency on issues impacting the education of students of that agency. What's wrong with this? That's all section 1. And then they have a bunch of findings. Section 2 gets very much into you can't act in the capacity of a parent with regards to technology or vaccines. No selling of the information for commercial purposes. Not sure what's wrong with this. How that's fascism. Doesn't seem like it to me. Available for inspection. They're supposed to make, again, information available about what's going on. Comment periods for students. So you can't put a book like Genderqueer in the school and then say it's not there. You can't look at it. And none of this says that a book is banned from being sold, from being owned by a parent, from being in your public library outside the school. Nothing in here says that. So there's no book banning going on here. Once you get down to, of course, there's some stuff where they have to tell you about suicidal ideation, if I haven't covered that. And then we get down, a lot of the middle of this is just a lot of the same stuff. Medical exam screenings or services involving exposure of private body parts during such examination. So there's some parts addressing that, saying that with the meanings and then enforcement of that. And so basically, if they're trying to get into any kind of medical stuff, they can't do it. Title III is just a quick prohibition on federal involvement with curriculum. Here's one that does anger the Democrats. Of course, Lauren Boebert did get provisions as amendments in. It's not in the original text. So if you go to the bill page, you can check the amendments out. But it says one amendment was if your school has to let you know what their policy is on transgender students in sports. So if you got a boy who is competing in swimming but says he's a girl, he's on. They have to let you know what the policy is on that. The other one is regarding locker rooms and bathrooms. They have to tell you the policy. They can't hide it. And they also have a prohibition in Title IV called Gender Markers, Pronouns, Preferred Names of School Forms. It says, and maybe they find this objectionable, that the school shall be required to obtain parental consent before changing a minor child's gender markers, pronouns, or preferred name on any school form, or allowing a child to change the child's sex-based accommodations, including locker rooms or bathrooms. Again, so your child says they're trans, yeah, you're going to know, because the parent should know. So it directly keeps anyone from hiding that stuff. As for the Republicans that chose not to support this, those people were Andy Biggs of Arizona, Ken Buck of Colorado, Matt Gaetz of Florida, which would normally be surprising, Matt Lawler, who was a co-sponsor, and Matt Rosendale. Now, 4 of those, Mike Lawler being an exception, they just said, hey, we're not supposed to be involved in education. We're not going to go there. That ship has kind of sailed. As long as we got Department of Education, I agree that the Constitution says there is no role for the federal government in education. But Mike Lawler said one of the amendments went too far. Apparently he lost that part in Virginia where a girl got that crime that starts with the letter R committed against her in a school bathroom by a boy in a dress. The school covered it up, which is why these violent incidents, they have to inform parents now. That's why you got to do it, because school tried to cover it up, moved the kid to another school, and he did it again. And he's acting like, oh, well, we don't need to worry. We shouldn't be targeting that. That's why we're having a problem with transgender kids. Supposedly there are no transgender kids, but supposedly transgender kids in these private spaces. These private spaces are meant to protect women and girls. And he switched his vote from being a co-sponsor to being against it, because apparently protecting women and girls in private places isn't good. And of course, the Democrats are calling it fascism, which we already covered. None of this is trying to keep parents from being involved. None of it's trying to force curriculum down anyone's throat. Yet AOC simply thinks because it's somebody else's fascism. Chuck Schumer has said it's dead on arrival. So what everyone who hears this video should do is contact your senators and say, this bill needs to be brought to the floor. It's pure tribalism. What is objectionable about parents knowing? What is objectionable about informing parents of, hey, there was a violent incident at the school, we're letting you know? They don't want to do that. Because, of course, Democrats think your children belong to them. As they say, socialists don't have kids, they have yours. So I will include links in the description, probably in the order of text to the bill page, where if you can go and read the amendments. Democrats said they offered 5. I counted 3. One was a complete rewrite of the bill to suit the Democrats. A couple others were to make it so that you might have to pay for some of this information, and another was in the amendments. There was 3 of them that were by Democrats. I believe it was stripping out another good provision out of this. Oh, that's right. They wanted to make it so that you couldn't know what the teachers were being trained to do. And then a couple of articles, about 3 articles from the Hill, detailing some of the other stuff I talked about. So, contact your senators. Let them know that this bill should go forward, because maybe if you get enough noise made about it, maybe Schumer's hand can be forced. Right now, they control the thing, and it's pure tribalism. The Democrats don't want to solve the problem. They just want to scream and cry. Until then, you all take care. Like, share, and subscribe, and we'll see you another night.